Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, my friends. Good evening. This is Angy Stewart from Mia Inner Light, and we are here live on Kardec Radio. I'm so happy I'm able to be here. I was a little sick earlier, but the spirituality provided, so I am much, much better right now, and we will be able to continue with our study. So I don't want to take much time from the study. So while the team start arriving, we will be able to already have started. Oh, one thing that I always forget, I need just to complete one task before I go. And today I was sick, forgetting even what is super important. So just 1 second, please. Today is number 33. Okay, very good. Ay. Awesome. So finally, now I have it connected. Very good. So Claudinha and Jackie will be my guests later on today. So please stay with us to our second portion of the study. And I would like to ask them also to start sharing. Please share our study on Facebook, on your profiles, on pages and groups, so more people can know about it and more people can join us. And the book we are reading and studying is this one, What is Spiritism? Is one of the many books that Kardec wrote. This is not a very thick book. This is really the summary of what is Spiritism, and it's a wonderful book, and very few people know about it. So it's important for us to really know about it and have a better understanding of what was that Kardec thought, how he dealt how with people that didn't know anything about Spiritism, the ones that were totally against Spiritism, or the ones that already knew but I still had the doubts. And we can use it nowadays because the questions, even if this was written in 1858, this one here, let me see, it's 58. Let me confirm exactly which year was this book published. No, this was 1859. So we know that in 1857 he published the Spirit's book. In 1858 he published the Spiritist magazine or Spiritist review, and in 59, What is Spiritism? So very good. I'm gonna share with you my screen, and I will be reading and making comments. So if you are here, if you have comments, if you have doubts, please write. Then I will be able to establish a conversation with you. I cannot see your names if you don't write. So if you would like to participate, please write something. So let's go. So this item, we are going to be talking about the spirit's good or ill will to convince. So this is the format that a Kardec does. He does like a visitor or a person that's going to ask a question, and then he will answer the question. So I highlighted the main items for us to understand, so I don't need to read every single thing. So the main understanding of the question is, the spirits ought to be interested in making converts. Why don't they convince certain individuals whose opinion would have a great influence? So the question is, why the spirits don't take a bigger effort in convincing people, like key people that would be important, people that would cause an impact if they say they believe or they understand Spiritism? This is the question. Genuinely question. Even nowadays, a lot of people, when I mention to them that I am a medium and I explain about Spiritism, lots of them say, "Oh, but if this is true, why I don't see spirits?" Well, unfortunately, it's not every single human being that can actually see spirits. But as in spiritism, we know we are every single human being, we are mediums. But the distinction that I have to be really fully understand is that not every single human being is a developed medium, is how can we say, is a medium. I had such a headache that I can't even think. A medium that they can actually see or hear or have a sensation, but we all can dream. We can all have like feelings that we have, like, oh, so many times you say, oh, I have a sensation that I feel a presence, or oh, I dreamed with a family member that it's already in the other side of the spiritual life. So these are also characteristics of mediumship. But yes, the medium that is called ostensive. Thank God I remember. Ostensive, the ostensive mediums. Let me put like this so you can see me better. So the ostensive mediums are the ones who actually can see better, can feel, and can really have a bigger understanding of the spirituality. So this is basically the question of this visitor. So Kardec continues and he starts answering. Well, they aren't interested in convincing certain individuals. We cannot control their opinions, the opinions of the spirits. The spirits have a way of judging things that is not always like our own. They see, think, and act according to their perspective. So this is good for us to have an understanding that when we are incarnated, we are surrounded by matter, even our physical bodies. So our understanding is a little bit more narrow. When we discarnate, we are free from matter, we are a spirit, then we can see and we can understand things in a much easier way. So sometimes even what we really didn't understand here, we didn't accept when we were incarnated, when we go to the spiritual realm, it's like this. Yes, who I can understand that. So this is very good. So the spirits, they embrace the whole. So they have a whole understanding of a situation. Many times, us incarnated, we only see one point. We have one point of view, but the spirits, they can see much broader. So time, which seems so long to us, is only an instant for them. Distance is only a step. So certain details that may seem extremely important to us are childish to them. On the other hand, they deem as important certain things whose significance we do not even grasp. In order to understand them, we must raise ourselves in thought above our material and mental horizon and see things from their perspective. It isn't for them to come down to us, but for us to go up to them. And that is done through study and observation. So, in this portion here, Kardec is really mentioning about the evolved spirits. He's not talking about earth to earth spirit. He's talking about the spirits that are more evolved than us. They are more morally evolved and intellectually evolved. So these are spirits that actually lower their vibration to come down to our level of energy to be able to communicate with us. But it's not up for them to lower all the way down to our level. No, we have to elevate. Like, imagine here is an elevated spirit, and here it's us. So the elevated spirit will come down, but we have to go up so we can actually communicate. We can understand their message and we can connect because we will be in prayers, we will be cultivating good attitudes, good thoughts, and of course, we have to enlighten ourselves. That's why the last sentence here it mentions, but for us to go up to them, and that is done through study and observation. Study and observation. Observation refers a lot to phenomena, to the mediumistic phenomena. So it's not for us to be whatever we see, whatever we hear, we immediately believe. It's not supposed like this. It's supposed for us, as soon as someone says, "Oh, I believe there is a spirit here because the door just opened." Yes, it's really a possibility because we know spirits can actually maneuver fluids and they could make a door open. But first of all, we have to take in consideration other facts matter. We have to take in consideration physical aspects. For example, in my house, when the air conditioning starts, it blows so strongly that if my door is not fully closed, yes, if the wind can come and lightly open the door, so it is a possibility. It does not mean that's a spirit that opened the door. So we have to always think in other possibilities before we immediately believe, because that's exactly what Kardec taught us. We shouldn't believe in everything. We should always try to understand it. What can I disprove it? And then if you can't, then yeah, it might be a spirit or some kind of a mediumistic phenomena. So the last portion is spirits appreciate diligent and conscientious observers. So this is good. This, and Kardec is explaining that the spirits, they enjoy people that really observe, people that are trying to understand. Even if they don't understand yet, they are trying to understand. Not the ones that immediately are saying, no, 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 this is not true. I don't believe, but they are like, wow, strange, I never heard of it. There is a possibility. That's what the enlightened spirits they enjoy. And then what keeps them away is not doubt born of ignorance. So it's explaining here that the spirits they are away not because of someone is doubting, someone is having issues in understanding, because this is normal, they understand it, it's totally possible, but the self complacency of supposed observers who observe nothing. The people that say that they are studying, they are researching, they are doing everything to understand the mediumistic phenomena, but they are really not. They are not doing it because they already have within them preconceived ideas, and usually are negative ideas that this is not true, this cannot happen, I don't think this is a possibility. That's what the enlightened spirits do not enjoy. And to finalize, he continues, spirits do nothing for this and are very little concerned about what they might say or think, because their time will come. That is why I have said that it is not the faith per se that's necessary, but good faith. So this last sentence is really, really good. And one of the things that I love, I didn't even put it big for you guys to read. One of the things I really love is this portion. Spirits do nothing for these that are very little concerned about what they might say or think, because their time will come. And yes, like everything, that we always say to related to spiritism. People that are like, oh, I don't believe in afterlife. Oh, I don't believe this. I don't believe that. No, this is a lie. And then, we shouldn't be really concerned in convincing them. We should follow the enlightened spirits. It's not our job to convince anyone, and we shouldn't, because we understand that everybody is in a different level of evolution. Some people are a little bit more evolved, they had more reincarnations, they had more will of learning, and others didn't. But we will all die, and this is the only certainty we have. This time here in this physical body is temporary. Even if maybe, who knows, a person lives a long life, lives 100 years, that's a very, very long life. Yes, that's great. But one day the 100 years will pass, and this person will eventually die and will wake up again in the spiritual realm. So what I always say is that don't worry with people that say it's a lie, because their time will come, exactly like the spirits mentioned in the message of Kardec. Their time will come, and then they will understand, or they will be forced to understand, because they will be living that a new reality. They will remember they had a physical body, they had a life, they had a family, and they also will remember that suddenly something happened, or they had an accident, or they were sick, or they were in a hospital, they were old, and then they will like, wow. So I guess I am dead. But I will say you are dead in the physical realm, because the spirit never dies. The spirit lives forever. So this is our study of this book for tonight. And now we are going to go into our second phase. We are going to do the gospel according to Spiritism. And in this portion, we have two guests with us. So let me bring our guest. So this is Claudinha. Hey, Claudinha, how are
Hello.
you?
Good. How are you? Feeling
I'm
better?
I'm better. I'm better now. Not 100%, but yes, I'm much better.
That's good. Good to know.
Thank you. Thank you. And this is Jackie. Hey, Jackie.
Hey Angie, hey Claudia, how are you?
Good.
Very
How are you?
good.
Good, very good, thank you.
Good to
Good to
have
have
you
you.
with
You,
us.
the two of you.
Yeah, the last time I think you were in a car.
I was in
So,
the car, I was on my way to Orlando.
yeah, so we couldn't see you. So it was just like the dark cloud. So now we're like, yeah, now
How
we
is
see
my dark
you.
room, right?
Yes, yes, very good, very good. Okay, so to to all of you that are arriving here, if you do have the book, we will in few minutes start chapter 18. So chapter 18, we will be talking about a very famous parable. Many are called, but few are chosen. And this is the chapter, and the first parable is the parable of the wedding feast. This is a parable that when I was a teenager, I couldn't understand it. I thought this was like a craziness that a wedding is happening, someone is inviting me, and I am fighting to not go to the party. Are you kidding me? I used to be the one, the wedding crashers. So I couldn't understand. In the same way I couldn't understand, I am sure a lot of people don't understand. But it's a very, very famous parable. So in many different religions. So a lot of people read and studied it. But sometimes they interpret it in a different way. So this will be very good for us, because we will interpret little by little. And today we actually have more time. So I ended faster so we can actually dissect this portion. So before we go, Jackie, we always talk about, it's our God at home that we do together live. But to all our friends, most of people in Spiritism, especially the ones that are already study Spiritism for a long time, we all do the God at home in our home. So it protects our homes, it helps us to feel better, to the family to feel more engaged. But we always say that even if you live alone or if you have a family member that do not want to do, you should still do it to your own benefit. And of course, now that we have the possibilities of doing online, it's great. So we can actually do online with our friends. So my question is, do you do the God at home alone? You do with your family? How do you do it?
I actually do it with my sister. She's in Brazil. We do it via WhatsApp.
Oh, wow, very good. Very good. Yeah, technology helps us so much in so many ways. Wow, I remember when I first discovered WhatsApp. For me, it was like heaven. I'm like, free? I can't believe it's free. I'm from the time that you had to buy a card to call Brazil, and the 10 minutes was already expensive. Imagine 21 years ago, almost 22 years ago, technology was so quick and boom, like so much easier nowadays. Very good. And how do you do? Each person do it in a different way. Like some people do it for 15 minutes, others for 30, others for a whole hour. Many different books are used. So how do you do with your sister?
Basically, we start, well, we always have water. We also put a candle together. My sister and I, she puts it there and I put it here. Then we read some of those books from Chico Xavier or from Divaldo Franco with like just one message, this one like happy life, for example. And then we do our prayer. We do like an introductory prayer. And then we read the gospel. And when we read the gospel, we don't choose a specific one. I know that the gospel, according to the Spiritism, asks you to follow. Every week every week or every time you do, you should be following the next chapter. What we do, we just open the gospel and we see what message we have to study that day. And we read, and then we start reflecting. Usually it lasts, and then we close with another prayer, and usually less than 30 minutes, like 20, 25 minutes.
Yes, very good. And no, not necessarily you need to follow. You can do as you feel. Like for people that had never read the book, yes, I would tell them to start from one page and continue because it's important to read the book at least once. But if you already read the book, then yes, it's really good to open randomly. I already mentioned here when I had problems with my mother and I was like angry and I went to do the gospel. When I opened randomly, was that the passage that says grace, grace, grace. And the name of my mother is Grace. So I was like, so that was like, boom, it was perfect.
In your prayer, you ask the spirits to guide
Yes,
you and to get the message that you need in that specific moment, right? So that
Show
exactly.
us, huh?
Exactly. We are never alone. We are always well guided. When we and when specifically when we need help, that's when we have the most help right there. Okay, let's help this lady. She's full of issues today. Exactly. Very good. Awesome. Hello, Sol. Hello, Teresa. Nice to see you here. Miss you, girls. So let's go. Let's start our God at home. So we always start with the little book, reading one passage of the little book, Happy Life. It's little in size, but very strong in the content. So, Claudinha, can you please read for us?
Sure. Today's lesson 16, which says, in your vocabulary, replace bad words with good ones. Vulgar words may be fashionable, but they poison the heart. Words are life's instruments for communication and understanding, not weapons of aggression, violence, and vulgarity. The poor use of words corrupts the mind and degrades the person. Words manifest an individual's moral quality. Because there are bad words, no, I'm sorry, because there are bad people who are well spoken, it is not right for you, being good, to express yourself with bad words.
So true. So true. And, I consider myself being very lucky because my mother and father never had bad words in their vocabulary. So for me, it was very easy to grow up not using those words. But unfortunately, in some families, it's common and they actually think it's so cute when a little kid starts saying it. But, we always know that everything we say, it vibrates, good
It's true.
or bad. So it will attract good or bad spirits. So this is something for us to really, really, really think about. So we have here Saul. So Saul is saying, "Hey Angela, I missed my gospel at home today. I got home late, so I connected here to do the gospel with you all. Thank you." Yes, Saul. Very good. You arrived in the perfect moment. You're doing it right now. So, Jackie, could you do our opening prayer for our gospel, please?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Dear God, please, and the good spirits, please be with all of us in this moment. Please open our minds for reading these words, for giving us wisdom, for having the right interpretation and clarity so that we can understand and also apply in our daily lives. Thank you so much, Lord, for allow us for being here, for allowing us to be together, united, to learn your word and the willingness to practice this. Please guide us and inspire us to give the right words in the for the good of all of us. So be it.
So
So
be it.
be it. So if you're watching it and you forgot to put your water, go run into the kitchen and put some water there because it will be your medication for the week. So let's go. So we are gonna read and study today the chapter 18, parable of the wedding feast. So this parable, even if it's very famous, a lot of people never really fully heard the parable. So I will read the whole parable and then we will comment it. It's very important us to be able to understand the parable. So pay attention to the parable so when we start commenting, we all understand it. And please, if you are watching us and you want to make comments, ask questions, feel free to do it. I will be happy to read your comments. So let's go. Speaking further through parables, Jesus said to them, "The kingdom of heaven is like a king who, wanting to give his son a wedding feast, sent his servants to call on those who he had invited. However, they refused to come. The king then sent the servants with orders to tell the invitees, 'I have prepared the feast. I have slaughtered my cattle, and what I have heard and what I have ordered to be fattened. Everything is ready. Come to the wedding feast.' However, they were not concerned. And one went to his house in his country, and another to his business. The others seized his servants and killed them after having badly mistreated them. When the king found out, he was filled with anger, and having sent his armies, he exterminated those murderers and burned their city. He then said to his servants, "The wedding feast has been fully prepared, but those who had been invited were not worthy of it. So go to the crossroads and call to the wedding feast all whom you meet." His servants then went into the streets and gathered all those who they met, both good and bad, and the wedding hall was filled with people who sat at the table. The king then entered to see those who were at the table. And noticing a man who was not wearing a wedding garment, he said to him, "My friend, why have you come in without a wedding garment?" The man remained silent. Then the king told his servants, "Bind his hands and feet and cast him into outer darkness. There, into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen." So this is in Matthew 22. So this is what I said. When I read this parable, when I was a teenager, I found out it to be so strange. A king is inviting me to be in the wedding of his son, and I'm going to say no. And then the people are going to travel away, people are going to go away, and the people are even going to kill the the people who went there to make the invitation. So obviously, I was a teenager, I was a Catholic, and the Bible didn't really have a lot of explanation. So I just couldn't understand. So, what can we explain to people that they listen to this parable for the first time, for example? And they are like I was in the past, and they are not understanding why is the king inviting people that are not willing to go to the event, to this feast.
Okay, if you want, Claudia, I can start.
You can do. Go ahead.
So the wedding that the parable is talking about is related to the heaven, to the kingdom of heaven, right? In that perspective, in our in the spiritual world, we say that is a more advanced world, right? But let's say let's put the kingdom of heaven because that's where we know or we learned when we are growing up, most of us. So basically, the people that were first invited were the Hebrews, and the people who invited them were the prophets. And what was the invitation? In order for them to go to the wedding, they had to follow their teachings, like love each other, be kind to each other, all of the different teachings that they were teaching back then. And people didn't want to follow. They just didn't believe in those things. They even killed each other and they created a lot of other things, polytheism, a lot of other rituals. They were adoring objects. That was they knew better back then. So this is
Mhm.
what represents the first part of the parable. So the wedding was an invitation, is equivalent to the invitation that the first people, all of us, received to go to the kingdom of heaven. And each one of them were the people that were invited, but they just didn't want to follow. They didn't want to do the work in order to reach that.
Mhm. Exactly. And the first servants, the servants who were first sent out, and they were like refused. As I think you mentioned, they were the prophets.
Prophet.
Most of the prophets, they were killed. They were not understood, and people end up killing them, including John of the Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when I read that, I was like, aha! I had the aha moment. I was, aha! That was really, really good for me when I finally understood that. Claudinha, what do you want to add to this portion?
I would say, like, for example, when it starts saying that the kingdom of heaven is like the God is our king, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whose wedding would it be? His son's, right? Which is Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like the wedding of Jesus with humanity,
Mm-hmm.
like all the, like everybody to get to know Jesus, this his teachings. And that's when he invited all the people, especially starting with the Hebrews, that they have all the culture, the laws, they knew about all the Moses, all the teachings that they had before. So they knew the law,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so they refused to go because they believed that they were the chosen people. They didn't believe that the Messiah was already here.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided not to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They refused this teaching. They didn't accept Jesus as the Son of God, as they were expecting. They still expecting, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, they're
That's more or
waiting.
less how I understand it.
Yeah. No, it's totally right. And it's a parable, so we really have
Right.
interpret. We have to have an understanding. We can't take it literally like I
Mm-hmm.
did. But it's fine. I was a teenager, and it's fine. A lot of people understand like that. But it's good also for people that think this is crazy, because then they start questioning. They plant the
Right.
seed. This is so weird. That there must be something deeper to that meaning there, and that's exactly as you both mentioned. This feast, this marvelous place, this wonderful kingdom is the kingdom of heaven. Is like to many is the paradise. For us, is the good place that we want to go. We are looking for, and one day we will all be there. It's not
Right.
that we are spiritists, that we die, we are going to straight to kingdom of heaven. No, we still have so much to improve, but one day we will be pure spirits. But it's wonderful that we are in that search to improve. As the enlightened spirits, they always tell us that it's normal to commit mistakes, but we should avoid repeating the same mistake. And exactly like you both mentioned, the first ones were the first invited, the ones who were prepared, the ones who had the understanding
The
of the one
knowledge.
God.
Uh-huh.
Because so many cultures in that time, they were polytheists, and
Mm-hmm.
the Hebrews, they knew there is only one
This
God,
one.
and they were the ones that are like should go faster, should accept
That's
faster.
right. And it
But
didn't
even
happen.
like that was a problem, was a problem. So yeah, so they started killing the people who invited them. So they started killing the first messengers, the first servants of God that came to incarnate on earth to spread the good news of the feast, or the good news of a life after the death of the physical body. So this is relating to spiritism. Of course, in that time they didn't have
This
disciples.
parable is very rich and
Yeah.
very deep.
Yes,
We have to read and think about it. And but I believe that today is a start for most of us.
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I wanted to add one more thing that I think is beautiful about this parable, which is we talk about the Hebrews, or that they were like responsible for this, right? For what happened. But in reality, there's also some others that didn't even want to pay attention because they so attached to the things. They were so attached to the matter, not necessarily to the spirit. They just didn't see anything happen. And then when this happens, and then God tells, that no, the leader, the master says, go and get anyone, the good and the bad, okay?
Yes,
Gather all the peoples, the pagans, the any type of good or bad people, and invite them to the
To the
party, to
feast.
the wedding. These were the people that went there. Who did this?
mm-hmm.
Jesus was the one preaching to
To
every single
everyone.
person.
Yes,
Okay. And the people who actually followed Jesus were the ones, the sick people, were the poor, were the homeless. Those were the people that followed Jesus the most. The sick people, the old people, they were the ones that followed Jesus first. And according to the gospel, they were the last ones to go to the wedding, but they were the first one to enjoy the wedding
mm-hmm.
because they learned Jesus preaching, and that's how
Yes.
they got into the having a kingdom of heaven.
Yes, yes, it's true. And usually they are the ones who are more disconnected from matter because they they don't have a lot of material possessions, and they start giving grace. They've been grateful to other things that are not like nowadays. It's not like a car, a house, or this or that, but it's really like a family, good health nowadays because of COVID. Good health is really, really important. So they were already more prepared to understanding this kingdom of heaven. And there are many passages on the Bible that talk about the rich young man, that how difficult it's for them. They even want to go,
Mhm.
like the rich young man, for example. In this passage, Jesus invited him directly, come with me. He said that. Now, he didn't say that to most of his disciples. Some of the disciples came to him, attracted to him. But to the young rich man, he told him, come with me. And then he actually stand up and he's like, sir, Lord, I really want to go with you, but can you allow me first to go to bury my father, because my father just died, so I have to pay respect to my father. So that was another parable, very good for us to understand too, because when you read that, you're like, wow, but it's a legitimate reason. He wants to bury his father. And but then there is a whole meaning to the back of this, and Jesus saw us everything. It's like a open book. So
Mhm.
Jesus knew that the deep inside of that young rich man, he wanted to make sure he could keep the fortune of his father and also follow Jesus. But
Mhm.
Jesus was in second place, was not the most important thing. First, let me take care of the
And
finances,
then I'll come.
and then I come. Yeah, I come later. Later, okay? Too
Second
late.
option. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Very good. There is a portion here that's very nice too. That is talking like that. It would be unjust, however, to accuse an entire people for such a state of affairs. That responsibility fell mainly to the Pharisees and Sadducees. We are talking about the ones that refuse the wedding feast. So then we are understanding specifically that the main people to refuse were the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who sacrificed their nation due to pride and fanaticism of the former and disbelief of the latter. So the Pharisees, they were the fanatics, and the Sadducees, they were the ones that were the disbelievers. So this is interesting for us to think also. So we usually we do generalization in everything. We say, oh, Brazilians are like this, all Americans are like this, all women are like this. But it's we shouldn't, because it's never like that. So we said the Hebrews. So as they are saying, it's not really everyone. As we saw, as we just said, the simple ones were the ones who actually really connected, who actually really understood and follow this. But the ones that were the higher hierarchy of the Hebrews were the ones who had more issues. So the Pharisees and the Sadducees were these ones that had more problems. So what else can we say?
I like the
I,
closing too, uh,
mm-hmm,
because it says it's not enough to be invited to the wedding, right? Which means it's not enough to say that we believe in God, that we believe in Jesus. We have to practice his teachings. We have to practice Jesus' teachings. And he
yes,
has the example, outside of charity, there's no salvation, which means that I can know everything about religion, I can know everything about spiritism. But if I
yeah,
practice, and charity is love for the other, unconditional love for the other, if I don't practice that, I'm not
yes,
going to enjoy that party.
yes,
And the
exactly.
party is living in
This
God.
is a process that comes from inside, right?
Amazing. Mhm.
It's something that comes from inside.
Yes.
Yeah. You
But
have to decide. Like, for example, like the second group that all of the good and bad, they were invited. And then when the king comes to the wedding and to the party, and he sees a man that was not wearing a proper robe, right? And what is this? And then we think, why does he say that? How does it say here? The king said, and you did not get in here without a wedding garment, right? Why? Right? The person, it's it was it was a good or bad person. It was among all of them, right? But the
mm-hmm,
person was not has not decided yet, had not the compromise yet, did not understand yet the whole purpose of it. I don't know
yes.
if I'm explaining myself.
Yes, yes, it's good for us to go in detail. So we understand the first ones, they were burned, they were the prophets, and then when the king said, "Go now and invite everybody," so it was not just the Hebrew ones that believe in one God, it was
Everybody,
everybody. The ones who believe, who don't believe, who believe in many
right?
gods, the good people, the bad people, come, hey, open the doors, and they all came. So they were willing to learn. They had done the first
Right,
step. But then when the king mentioned one person, but wait, you don't have the wedding garment. So let's imagine, let's interpret all the other ones, the good and bad, at least they had the wedding garment.
right.
And what means the wedding garment? That's the point for us to understand. So in the last page, we have a good explanation that says to be dressed in a wedding garment, which means to have a pure heart and to practice the law according to its spirit, Without charity, there is no salvation. Exactly like Jackie was mentioning. So this wedding garment is really to have the desire
You have to be
of
prepared,
changing.
right? You have to be
Yes,
prepared. You have to
open.
be opened to
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Is that what it is?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Yes,
exactly.
open to practice, right? We have to be open when we have to practice. We really have to do our own internal change to
Yeah,
really
Mm-hmm.
say things, read more than preach, really do the things, walk
yeah,
the talk, lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
This
And
one is probably a person that knew everything about the teachings but didn't practice anything.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The garment was
Yes,
the person really practicing it.
yes, yes. So this
I am not there
garment,
yet. I try.
this we
I'm
are
so
all
far from
trying.
it.
God would send me to somewhere else, but I wouldn't be in the wedding.
We are all trying. Thank God there were many weddings. So that's it. You know, the wedding is to have a pure heart, to be open to it, and to practice the law. And this law is really what the teachings that Jesus gave us. You know, so many beautiful teachings that a lot of people connect with the teachings, and they say it's very nice. Yes, it's good, but they are not doing. And we are not talking just about charity. Without charity, there is no salvation. We understand it. But to some people, they are not able to do charity yet because they are still so far behind. They are still in the first steps. They are opening their minds to the understanding they should be good to a neighbor. Imagine practicing charity. They are still learning that maybe they shouldn't offend someone all the time freely, like for no reason. But little by little, you know, some people faster than the others, thank God, and other people with more life reincarnating more time because they needed to reincarnate more times to finally rest. But to all of us watching it right now, we already know that we are not there anymore. We already know that charity is the main goal. That only when we are able to look outside our world, our little environment, and see the pain in others, that's when we will be able to evolve. That's why it's so important to live in society. When we isolate ourselves, we are in our bubble.
We cannot
Imagine
practice.
you are in paradise. Whoo! But you don't connect with others suffering. You even hear, oh yeah, poor thing, that's sad. You don't do anything. When you are in society, we feel like, wow, I should do something. And we can do so much every day. And this is one of the requirements when people request, for example, to do a spiritual treatment. And we all know everybody wants to be cured of something. Everybody is willing to be cured of something. And then we say yes, we explain how a spiritual treatment it is. And but then we also mention there is more that you have to do. It's not just the praying, it's not just studying and participating of the 4 weeks treatment, but you really have to engage yourself in some kind of charitable work. That's why every spiritual center should have some kind of charitable work. I know there are some that unfortunately don't, but it's important for them to have, because when someone is doing something, is going through a turmoil, is having hard times, and sometimes they start questioning the studies, they start questioning even God because of something really horrible happened. And then a person that doesn't really have a good faith, they start questioning everything. Then you say, leave all this by the side and come with us Sunday to help someone. Come to the nursing home. Let's visit them. By the way, the nursing homes are opening and we can visit. I received the letter from my elderly. Don't know if you guys were participating. You that are listening here, participating of the Loving Letters project that we did in Mia Inner Light. But they always, everybody there is receiving letters saying, "We are open. Come, come, come."
We're gonna meet
So
our friends, huh?
yes, yes, I will be organizing a day that the ones who live in Miami, if they would like to go, we could go as a group, and we can visit all the ones that we were writing the same day. Yes, very good, very good. I think this would be so, so, so nice to be able to meet them in person, because throughout the pandemic, it was hard for us. Imagine
Imagine for
for
them.
the elderly. So we can always do a little bit. As Jackie said, we don't do much, but we are doing something. And we
Mhm.
can inspire others to do with us. For example, Mia Inner Light and Jackie Foundation. Jackie, what's the name of the foundation that we work together?
See the world education.
Good. I never remember. See the word education. So we are together. Me and Inner Light, volunteers of love, and see the word education. We are working together, putting cleaning material in bags and distributing to lots and lots of a family of visually impaired uh, people that live here in Miami. So I know it's a little thing that people say, "Oh, this is not going to change." It doesn't matter. It's our willingness to do it, to help. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And if you are listening and you would like to participate, get in touch with us, because we do it once a month, always the first Sunday of the month. So we are doing this Sunday, but next month we will do, and then we can always have a more and more volunteers. So this is one of the things we always tell people that are going through some kind of turmoil, some kind of difficulty, and they are willing to have a spiritual treatment. We always tell them, join us in a charitable activity, because it will help. It will help the person to see others, to understand, wow, there are so many difficulties around my little environment.
It
And
helps,
we always say
it
too that
helps us
when we
to,
give love, we receive so much. Woo!
and it helps us put things into perspective.
Definitely, definitely. Let me see here. Saul Souza said they, they will be so happy. Yes, Saul, I'm looking forward to visiting our elderly. It will be so good. We have Vanessa here. Hello, Vanessa.
Oh my
It's a
God.
blessing. Yes, it's always a blessing to talk about
See,
spiritism.
I talked about Vanessa on the Tuesday, one of my Tuesday comments, remember?
Yes,
I
yes.
remember.
We are all connected, doing good together. This is awesome. So, anything else you girls would like to comment about the parable to finalize? I think we already said everything.
Yeah,
And
we close when we talk about we have to walk the talk. It has to come from inside. We have to practice. It's not only to understand what it is, but it's really to put in practice all these things that we are learning.
exactly. So important. So important. We don't want to be like that story of the famous lecturer, the famous speaker who had everything by memory, had every line, every versicle, every parable, but never really did any type of charitable work. Never had the hands-on. And when he discarnated, he didn't go to the place he was imagining, because spiritism is love in action. So yes, we are learning. So let's practice and let's bring others to do the same. So we go as a group. I'm a group person, so I love groups. So imagine groups doing good. That's always always the best thing. The
We
best.
feel that our heart, it grows.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
it expands,
feel the
right?
love, like when we're doing something good. Remember, like when we did the nursing home party, they showed the performance before COVID, like 2 years ago.
Years
It
ago,
was so nice. They were
it was
so
great.
excited, and that was like we were Broadway actors and actors. Everybody was like, "Yeah!" You have
And
to
everybody
participate,
was having a
Jackie.
great time. They
I'm
were,
thinking
we
about
were.
yeah, everybody had a
Yeah.
great time with the ones who were watching and us doing. So I'm hoping to be able to do another one this year. Let's see. Let's see. Hopefully it will happen. Okay, my friends. So we are finalizing. Oh, Vanessa said Virginia is here saying hi. Thank you for the beautiful study. Thank you. Send a big kiss to Virginia, Vanessa.
I love
Very,
when she comes to the prayers.
yes, yes. Tell her we are doing our final prayer. So thank you, all of you. Let's do our final prayer. And we can connect with the enlightened spirits that were here helping us to be a little bit better. So at this moment, let's close our eyes. Let's elevate our thoughts. And let's say thank you. Thank you so much, dear Lord, for these blessings that we received. Thank you so much for the messages we were able to interpret. Thank you for this deeper understanding of the parable, this deeper understanding of what Spiritism means in our lives. And at this moment that we are surrounded by these good vibrations, this wonderful energy, we would like to share a little bit with our friends who are listening in their homes or to the other ones that will be listening it through Kardec Radio, the recorded message. And we would like to send this love to all the people that are still sick with COVID, all the workers that are attending them, the doctors, nurses, all the personnel, to the ones that are sick in hospitals, to the ones in orphanages, to our elderly friends in the nursing homes, in the countries that are going through hunger and so many other difficulties, to the prisons, everywhere, everywhere in this beautiful blue planet. Please, Master Jesus, send to all of them the good spirits with these positive vibrations so they can receive this energy and they can feel this change in their physical bodies reflecting in their souls. And whatever is the difficulty they are going through, help them to connect with goodness and feel the hope and develop this faith that things will be better because they always change, things always improve. Thank you so much for this opportunity of being together tonight. And please help all of us to come back again next week. Thank you so much. So be it.
So be.
So be it.
Very good. Thank you so much, Claudinha. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Jackie. Thank you so much,
Thank
all of
you,
you that
Jackie.
participated.
Thank
Yes, it was
Wonderful.
very good, very positive, and I think we now understand the wedding parable, the wedding feast. Ah, this was awesome.
Now we
Very
want to
good,
do wedding crashers.
guys. Very good. Have a great night. Bless you all.
Thank
Drink
you.
a little
Bye.
bit of your medication and let's come back again soon. Good night.
Good
Bye.
night.